Willis Otieno says Gachagua's impeachment case is far from over. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, kindly consider subscribing. Don't forget to like, comment and share our videos. Lawyer Willis Otieno has raised major constitutional questions following the High Court judgment on former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment case, arguing that the ruling leaves unresolved legal contradictions that are likely to trigger further appeals. Taking to his official X account on Tuesday, June 9, 2026, Otieno questioned how the court could acknowledge violations of fair hearing and due process while, at the same time, validity of the Senate's impeachment decision. And I quote, "The judgment appears to leave a significant tension unresolved," Otieno stated. According to the Savina Deputy Party leader, the right to a fair hearing is a central constitutional principle that directly affects the legitimacy of any legal or quasi-judicial process. And I quote, "A finding that a person was denied a fair hearing ordinarily goes to the heart of the decision-making process. Fair hearing is not a peripheral right that can be separated from the outcome. It is a constitutional prerequisite for the validity of the process itself," he explained. Otieno argued that many legal observers could naturally question how an impeachment process found to contain procedural flaws could still produce a legally sustainable outcome, and I quote, "That is why many legal observers will ask if the impeachment process was tainted by a violation of due process. How does the resulting Senate determination remain unaffected?" he posed. He further noted that the judgment leaves uncertainty regarding the legal consequences flowing from the impeachment process, especially if constitutional defects were identified during the proceedings. And I quote, "The second question concerns the practical consequences of the judgment. If the impeachment process is found to have suffered constitutional defects, what does that mean for the legal disabilities from the process?" he asked. Otieno maintained that constitutional litigation should ideally provide clarity and consistency, warning that conflicting findings within the judgment could generate more legal disputes instead of settling them. And I quote, ultimately, constitutional litigation should bring clarity and legal certainty, where a judgment simultaneously identifies a violation of fundamental rights while preserving the consequences flowing from the embargoed process. Questions are bound to arise regarding the coherence and legal reasoning," he stated. The lawyer suggested that the matter is likely headed for appellate review, potentially culminating in a Supreme Court interpretation of the constitutional issues involved. And I quote, "I suspect this matter is far from concluded and may ultimately require appellate clarification," he observed. Otieno also highlighted the difficulty balancing act facing courts in politically sensitive constitutional disputes, particularly when separating personal rights violations from institutional decisions. And I quote, "The difficulty legal question is where to draw the line. If the violation was serious enough to justify a 5 million award, some will argue it should also affect the impeachment validity. Others will argue that the court was entitled to separate the personal injury caused by the rights breach from the institutional validity of the Senate's decision," he added. The High Court ruling on Gachagua's impeachment has continued to spark intense legal and political debate, with analysts suggesting the case could significantly shape future interpretations of impeachment law, parliamentary accountability, and constitutional due process in Kenya. The High Court on Monday, June 8, 2026, upheld the impeachment of Gachagua but awarded him 50 million in damages, finding that senators violated his right to a fair hearing during the proceedings. In a judgment delivered at night, the court ruled that while the impeachment itself met the constitutional threshold and could stand, aspects of the process fell short of fair trial standards guaranteed under the Constitution. The bench found the members of the Senate proceeded with hearing despite request of an adjournment on medical grounds, concluding that the refusal to pause proceedings amounted to a violation of Gachagua's right to a fair hearing. The court said that although Parliament has broad constitutional authority to oversee and remove state officers, that power must be exercised in accordance with due process protections, including the right of an accused official to participate adequately in proceedings affecting their office and rights. Gachagua's camp is expected to continue pursuing legal remedies as the matter advances through the appellate process. Kirinyaga Woman representative and lawyer Njeri Maina described the High Court's decision to uphold impeachment of Gachagua as gravely disappointing, saying the legal team will challenge the judgment at the Court of Appeal. Speaking to journalists outside Milimani Law Court shortly after the ruling on Monday, June 8, 2026, Maina said Gachagua has accepted the outcome peacefully and urged his supporters to remain calm as the legal process continues. And I quote, "He is a peace-loving Kenyan," she said. He has called upon all his supporters to take whatever outcome of today's judgment, knowing that we shall proceed to the Court of Appeal and maintain peace and order that we can give our institutions sufficient time to interrogate this judgment today. End of quote. The ruling was delivered by a three-judge bench comprising Justices Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima, and Freda Mugambi. Until the next video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. Until another video, bye for now.